A woman, a gun, and a noodle shop. Imagine Blood Simple remade into a comedy taking place in China around the year 1700. And this isn't just similar to Blood Simple, it's officially a remake that even credits Joel and Ethan Coen in the credits for the script. I'm glad to see someone's remaking a great film, but I didn't expect to see a comedy ever made out of Blood Simple. If you've seen this, you'll know why. If I've said if you've seen Blood Simple, you understand why I say that. Now, the director of this film is the man behind Hero, House of Flying Daggers, The Curse of the Golden Flower, and I just read he also directed the opening ceremonies of the 2008 Olympics. Now, these are some exceptionally visually interesting films, which make some sense that you choose Blood Simple to remake because that was an amazingly originally visual film when it came out around 1984. Unfortunately, this film is one of the least visually exciting of all the films I mentioned above, but I don't really want to fault it for that. Now, the story is great, and I'm glad you've seen Blood Simple first, because the story is confusing enough in the Texas drawl, although I want to mention the fact that I admire the complex story that I call confusing. It's not really confusing so much as you have to pay some attention to it. The characters do a lot of things without blatantly telling the audience their motivations. The characters make mistakes, and they say they're making mistakes. The movie isn't really obvious about it, like most Hollywood films are, so it's an impressive script in that sense. Now, I picked up a lot of Blood Simple when I saw it a second time, and if I saw this one first without ever seeing Blood Simple, I think I'd be much more confused, simply just because I think of the way it's done. The translation is pretty good, and I don't mean in the language, but just to the whole style and the story and such. You know, you have swords and arrows replacing guns. A crooked police detective replaces the private detective in Blood Simple. Not everything works, however. There's some incriminating photos in Blood Simple are now torn or maybe bloody clothing, which isn't quite the same level of proof to me for characters to be afraid of getting out or found. Not having car headlights to warn someone who's trying to rapidly bury a body that he needs to hide is done now with a horseman with kind of a police siren that makes noise so the person hears it coming and knows he has to hurry. Ancient China probably doesn't have the equivalent of driving to a seedy hotel to hide out, so the finale in this film takes place in the same shop the rest of the film does. Now, the final shot, which I adored in Blood Simple, simply doesn't work or have a possible equivalent I could think of, so they kind of they find a close proximity to it here, but just obvious if you're familiar with it that it's not the same. Now, there's only one great thing in Blood Simple, though, that was possible to do here that they felt missing to me in this film. That's the scene of trying to cover up a murder, and there's just too much blood to hide it all. Wonderful in Blood Simple. The camera work, the tension. It kind of reminded me of Psycho, the lead character trying to bury the car in the swamp, but it doesn't quite sink in for a moment. We're kind of rooting for him. This movie just kind of glossed over that a little bit. I was a little surprised. But now, for this film, though, overall, does it work? Mostly. Where it fails is in trying to be comic, farcical. Maybe the director found Blood Simple funny, but this is simply too serious and dark a work to have anything other than maybe black comedic moments in it. This guy's trying to be a little absurd, farcical type stuff. Kind of distracting to be overall. But basically, this isn't a bad film. There is a lot to actually recommend about it, but not enough that I would recommend it over renting Blood Simple instead. I definitely recommend seeing Blood Simple first, and then maybe seeing this one as an alternate take or version of it. Also, this is known as a simple noodle shop, or a simple noodle, I believe, is also what you may find it called as, but where I saw it in the theater, it was known as a woman, a gun, and a noodle shop. There you go. I'm probably going to give it 3 stars out of 5.